Hello and welcome to Truth Talk with Dr. Tamida. This is where faith meets medicine and truth meets real life. I'm Dr. Tamida, a medical doctor, a believer in Jesus Christ, and someone who is deeply passionate about seeing people healed in spirit, soul, and body. In this podcast, we will be talking about life, health, purpose, struggles, and the gospel of Jesus Christ. Without hypes, without fear, without pretending. So if you're someone looking for truth that works in everyday life, I can assure you, you are in the right place. So even as we begin and go further, I really want to be honest with you guys. Now, I'm a doctor by training, but long before medicine, I'm also human. I have seen pain, I have seen suffering, Jesus. I have gone through stuff, but amidst all the frustrations and all the negative things I've seen, I've also seen healing. But at the same time, I've also seen loss. I've been in hospitals where medicine did everything it could. It literally did everything it could, but yet it wasn't enough. And there are moments where I have also seen faith without wisdom causing unnecessary pain. Now, after seeing all this, I began to think and wonder. And along the way, I got to realize that faith and medicine were not supposed to be enemies. But the question is, why is it that out there, they are being pushed to people, they tell you, you have to choose between one. It's either you're trusting God or you're taking medications, or you're taking medications and not trusting God, So it's been forced on people to choose between one. And it actually opened my mind, and I began to see even previously that some believers do feel guilty for actually falling sick. Why? Because they think that illness is a lack of faith or is a failure of faith. I've also seen professionals who reject faith. Why? Because they think that belief is just ignorance. Like, it's just ignorance. I can explain why this and this, why you believe in and all those kind of stuff, right? I've seen believers, even at my workplace, thinking that having a faith or believing or something is just ignorance and all that. And at the same time, I've been to churches where I see people smiling while at church, but at the same time are breaking down silently at home. People are literally smiling outside, glowing and all that, but back in the house, they're literally breaking silently. I basically see a world which is exhausted with shallow answers to deep pains. And we have to address that. We literally have to look into that. So even to me as a person, as a doctor, I have treated bodies, but at the same time, as a believer, I have seen souls, I have seen hearts crying for meaning. I have seen hearts literally crying for meaning. And the thing that broke my heart the most is you see people suffering, and in this state of suffering, not because help does not exist. These people were not able to get help. Why? Not because help does not exist. But the reason as to why they were not able to get that help that they needed was because the truth was divided. You're being told to choose between this and that. And people end up suffering so much because of divided truths. The truth has been divided. For example, you get to hear when they tell people, just pray. Someone literally needs help. Some people are just asking for help, and all they are being told is just pray, when they only just needed help. While others are being told just take medications, when their souls are dying. When the souls are dying. Now, this is not division. This is not truth. The division in itself is not truth, and this is not love. Because people will keep suffering if we keep dividing truth, not giving it fully as it is. People will keep suffering not because help does not exist or what to do does not exist, but because of the truth is being divided, then people would actually keep going through whatever they're going through. And when I talked to so many people and interacted with so many people, I got to realize that people have a certain mindset. People have a certain mindset, and I want to clarify that today. That medicine is not a lack of faith. Yes, medicine is not a lack of faith. I see people telling me, oh, I have faith, I'm not going to take that medications and all that. And you're dying. You're dying, you're not taking the medication. Probably you've prayed and prayed and prayed and nothing has happened, and you're like, I'm going to keep praying and all that and whatnot. Medicine does not show or does not tell you that you do not have faith. No. Sometimes we also take the medicine by faith. You use it, Father, as I take this medication for my obedience to the doctor or whoever. You pray through whatever condition or whatever situation you have that is making you take that medication. So medicine here is not a lack of faith. And then I've also seen that people think that faith is rejection of wisdom. No, faith is not rejection of wisdom. The fact that we move by faith and not by sight, this is not rejection of wisdom. I've seen people come to me and you're advising them to take certain medications and all that. Like someone I met who has ulcers and have been treated for ulcers, PUD, over and over again, has recurrent, and then she came to the facility and be like, oh, I have been on a 30 days fasting and all that. I have been on a 21 days fasting. And you begin to wonder, faith is not rejection of wisdom. These two must play together. These two must play together. Now, God is not threatened by science, by medicine. He actually gave us the knowledge to develop all that has been developed so far and to be able to treat people with it. So truth cannot compete with truth. Truth can literally not compete with truth. When we go through the scriptures, we also see that Jesus healed people. He healed bodies. He raised the dead, the blind saw, the crippled walk, the lame, people who were oppressed were set free. But above all that he did, he also restored identity to us. Now, what was lost in the Garden of Eden, he also restored back that relationship that was intended to be since the time of Adam and Eve. Our identity was restored. Our value was restored. Humanity was restored. Right? And at the same time, we go further and see that he forgave us of our sins. Jesus forgave sins, but at the same time, he acknowledged pain. At the same time, he acknowledged pain. So we get to find out that medicine treats bodies. Faith also treats the heart. And as humans, we need both of them. We actually need both of them. And this is the reason as to why we're bringing this podcast to you. Because we have seen believers struggling with identity and the truth. What should I do? What should I do? Should I just pray and not take medication? Should I take medications and not pray? And all those confusion and all that. So this podcast exists because I believe that in this podcast we can literally talk about serious conversations, honestly, without fear, without shame, and without pretending that one truth cancels the other. No. We're going to bring it as it is and dissect it and talk honestly and truthfully with the whole topics that we are going to be bringing to you guys. Now, Truth Talk exists to the person who is tired of pretending to be okay when they're not. Believers who are struggling with anxiety. The podcast is for professionals who are wrestling with purpose. And at the same time, is for the person asking, where is God in all these things? Where is God in all this? That through the journey of this podcast, we'll be talking about faith, we'll be talking about medicine, we'll be talking about relationship, mental health, waiting seasons, struggles, the gospel, suffering, and hope and so many other things. Now, but I want us to understand that this podcast is not to impress you guys. This podcast is not to impress anyone. It's a podcast to work with you. Now, some of these episodes might comfort you, while other episodes might challenge you. But the truth of the matter is we will be rooted in truth and love. The whole episodes and the whole thing that we are going to be putting for you guys is going to be rooted in truth and love. So I'm just here encouraging us guys that if you resonate with this, I invite you to subscribe, to share this episode and walk this journey with me. In the next episode, we'll be talking about so many great topics that people are really scared of asking. And I hope that this journey is going to be fruitful for us even as we proceed. God bless you and thank you for being here. This is Truth Talk with Dr. Tamida. Have a great day and bye.